The vanishing of CT. It was supposed to be just another stop on the tour, another city, another crowd, another encore. But when CT, the reigning king of country music, failed to show up at the sold-out arena in Nashville, the world began to take notice. Fans gathered in clusters, clutching concert tickets like faded promises, while whispers spread like wildfire through the smoky air of honky-tonk bars and radio stations across the South. JR, CT's manager of 15 years, was the first to report him missing. He had knocked on the door of CT's hotel suite at the Heritage Inn, only to find it slightly ajar. Inside, the room looked almost untouched, bed still made, clothes hanging neatly in the open wardrobe. The only sign of life was CT's battered guitar case, propped against the wall, still latched. Panic settled in JR's stomach like a bad meal. He pulled out his phone and dialed CT's number, only to be greeted by his own voice on the other end. CT had left his phone on the nightstand. JR knew immediately that something was wrong. The man who had never gone anywhere without his six-string and cell phone had seemingly vanished into thin air. Within hours, news of CT's disappearance dominated headlines. Country radio stations played his biggest hits on loop: Whiskey Sunrise, Long Road Home, and the ballad that made him a household name, Blue Jeans and Broken Dreams. Meanwhile, fans camped outside the hotel, holding vigils and swapping theories, some wild, some chillingly plausible. The authorities kept a tight lid on the investigation. Sheriff PM, a no-nonsense lawman with a reputation for getting answers, addressed the public with careful words and a stoic face. "We're doing everything in our power to locate Mr. CT. We ask for privacy and patience during this investigation," he said, though his eyes betrayed uncertainty. Back at the hotel, JR sat with SL, CT's lead guitarist and closest friend. SL was inconsolable, blaming himself for not checking in sooner. They had partied the night before, whiskey flowing freely as CT strummed a few new riffs and sang about a lost love that no one quite knew the story behind. CT had been quieter than usual, but SL chalked it up to exhaustion. As the days stretched on with no sign of the missing star, conspiracies flourished. Some claimed CT had staged his own disappearance, tired of the relentless spotlight and suffocated by fame. Others whispered about foul play, jealous lovers, rival musicians, or debts owed to dangerous people. Yet those closest to him refused to believe he'd abandon his fans or his family. Then, 3 weeks after CT went missing, a letter surfaced. Mailed to the local paper and postmarked from a small town in Montana, it was written in CT's familiar scrawl. "Don't look for me," it read. "I've gone where the music doesn't follow. Tell them I'm sorry." JR stared at the paper, hands trembling. It made no sense. CT had always said music was his lifeline, the only thing that kept him going. Why would he leave it all behind? Months passed, and despite occasional sightings and persistent rumors, CT remained a ghost. His records continued to climb the charts, and tribute concerts popped up in cities across the country. Some believed he was dead, while others swore he was still out there, playing under a different name in some forgotten dive bar. It wasn't until 2 years later, at a truck stop in Wyoming, that SL thought he saw him. A scruffy man in a worn-out hat, strumming an old guitar and singing to no one in particular. Their eyes met, but the man just tipped his hat and walked away, disappearing into the dusk. SL never spoke of it, not even to JR, but he knew in his heart that the music had finally led CT somewhere only he could understand.